It's seeing potential, and it's imagining the possibilities rather than the roadblocks.
It's almost a way of breathing new life into something that we already do,
Right.
put a new contemporary spin on it.
Taking the mundane and turning it into the extraordinary.
It doesn't have to be a big thing.
It's reassembling what we already know that's good into something that's great.
You're inspired by something, probably in response to a need that you identified. You think of what is being done, what might yet need to be done, and then trying to come up with that missing ingredient. That's what I think innovation is.
However it's defined, innovation has always been part of the educational enterprise, and the community college itself is one of the most important innovations in the history of higher education. The second decade of the new millennium is heralding a renaissance of innovation in education, a resurgence of interest and experimentation that begs for analysis and review. With support from MetLife Foundation, the League for Innovation in the Community College has taken on this analysis and review to share with our colleagues our findings about the nature of innovation in the community college. This research study focused on recipients of the League's Innovation of the Year Award between 1999 and 2008 and involved categorization of the 173 award-winning innovations, a survey of the 400 innovators who developed those innovations, an exploration of a culture of innovation, and interviews with selected award winners. This study did not seek to explore the specific innovations themselves, but looked instead for insights into the elements that contribute to the nature and processes of innovation in community colleges. These elements include the motivation for innovation, the impact of innovation, the longevity of innovation, the support for innovation, and strategies for successful innovation. The project survey of innovators found that for 59% of the award winners, a motivating force behind the innovation was the improvement of student learning.
The motivation to start that was the fact that students just weren't doing very well at trying to locate sources, trying to utilize sources, and then in any way effectively integrating them into their own writing, and then finally documenting all of that.
Many colleges and universities are creating and implementing learning outcomes and learning outcomes assessment. But we are a very large college. We have over 165,000 students, and we have almost 800 faculty full-time, plus about 1,500 faculty part-time. So the fact that it happened in all 8 campuses, it happened in a short period of time, in a few years, and the faculty was so excited about doing this, that was the innovation. Rather than saying, oh, another curricular reform, here we go again, and what's going to happen with my discipline and my courses, it was all about the students.
We started the project to benefit our students and didn't even realize it was an innovative project until others outside of our college and even some within our college started approaching us, asking us questions about our project, and some of the other colleges wanted to replicate our program. And that's when we decided, okay, we've got something a little different here.
For 55% of innovators, improving an existing system, process, practice, or procedure was a motivating force.
The college had received a Title III grant in 2001, and as a part of that grant we were charged to create a professional development plan for all of our full-time faculty that would encourage and provide them an opportunity to learn more about student engagement.
For 44% of innovators, improving student retention or attainment was a motivating factor.
So Student Services came up with this concept of holistic case management and student counseling. And they didn't have the right tools to be able to effectively deliver that. So we built a set of tools to allow them to leverage a greater number of students per counselor. So they can effectively work with and advise and counsel more students in in a better, more consistent way than they were able to before.
Much of the college saw us as the fun and games department because the end result of what we do a lot of times is a spring fling or a fall festival or something like that. We knew really that we were teaching students skills, but the rest of the college didn't always see it that way. So all we really did was take all of the great things that we were doing and package it so that we delivered it differently, and we really started demonstrating how, in academic terms and educational terms, that we really did contribute to a student's success.
For 39%, meeting a community need was a motivating factor.
We recognize that in rural areas in many parts of our state, there just weren't education programs for hygiene. These programs are very costly, and we saw that this wasn't going to take place at the local institutions, so there was a need for programs in these outlying areas in the state.
Research after research shows that children, young adults who play music do much better academically. And yet there are a lot of children in the San Diego School District which don't have the opportunity to do music because they don't have access to an instrument. They can't buy one, they can't rent one. So what we've been able to do is put instruments in over 400 kids' hands over the last few years. And these then are young people who have found a way out of difficulty, who have found something that takes them, and I don't want to say off the street, but it's certainly a distraction from many of the other things that can go on in a young person's life, and allows them to dedicate themselves to music as opposed to many of the things that young people can get involved in.
Third graders in particular seems to be the tipping point, where if they read, they're going to succeed. If they don't start reading, then everything kind of falls apart on them. And so we came up with this idea for an after-school reading program for at-risk kids. And we have them come out to the zoo. They're excited about being here. They get excited about reading, and they end up going home with 3 books of their own. And so it really gets these kids over the edge, we hope, over the hump.
Researchers found that the strongest impact of the innovations is on the innovators themselves, followed by their department or division at the college.
There isn't a group of new people that come through that I don't learn a lot from. It keeps me current, it keeps me up to date, it keeps me in touch with areas that are changing in post-secondary education that I can research and I can look into more.
It has been a marvelous journey for me. Very rewarding. Rewarding in the sense that I have been able to take sociological theory, research, a prevalent social problem, marry all that together and provide an excellent opportunity for students and some of the people I care most dearly for, children and older people. As a pediatric nurse and as a gerontologist, my interests span the age continuum, and I'm able to grab it all up in this one program. And so it's been a rejuvenation point for me in terms of my career.
Faculty who go to teach at the Department of Justice are re-energized. They say, hey, this is a different group of students, this is a different group of learners, and they bring back to our classroom that experience.
In interviews, award winners also described the impact of the innovation on their students.
One of the greatest differences I see in making with students is they begin to change the way they think.
The impact it has on teaching and learning and the staff and the whole mission of the college that is the important part.
The impact of the innovation on the college.
Previously, while we were under the title of one college, many of the campuses worked independently, and this allowed us to really unify our thoughts and our teaching processes.
The impact of the innovation on the community.
The Skills 2010 process, which is really a follow-on to the first survey, has provided Kirkwood and me personally with the opportunity to lead, to really be the community's college. Each time we do this survey and we put our action agenda together, we don't just complete the survey and then release the report. We put an actionable agenda in front of the community. The community leaders come together. We talk about what we learned in the survey, and potentially the 6 to 10 things that we need to do over the next 3 to 5 years to impact change.
The state actually selected our project to be the model program for the state. So we are now got national recognition for what we have done because it was one of the first models available in the field.
Well, this innovation, School at Work, has had a much more significant impact than we ever anticipated when we started with it. I assumed it would be a small project here in Maryland with a number of hospitals, maybe a couple of surrounding states. Last I heard, we have served over 4,500 students in 30.
The digital resource repository is being used by other colleges and universities.
I asked the president of the college, what will be my measure of success? She said enrollment. And I said, and what is that expectation? And she said, if you have 100 students by the end of the first
year, we will be happy. And we had 1,500. We have students all across the United States and in 33 countries outside of the United States.
Using our code to replace, a big software vendor's delivered functionality is huge for an IT person. But the business impact alone for a large community college district like that is just, it's almost mind-blowing.
It has a direct impact on the lives of students and the counselors and advisors who interact with them. So we know that it has reached the lives of tens of thousands of students at this point here at Sinclair. It's also been used at a number of colleges around the country, and we know it's reaching students there. So it's increasing students' success, retention, grade point averages, goal attainment. And that's something that you can feel really good about. And for some of us in positions that aren't traditionally student-facing like IT, it's a little harder to see how you're directly connected to a student's success. So with things like this, it's pretty gratifying to know, I can look at that report, and while I can't see the individual student, I can know that there are hundreds of students who are still in college because of the work we've done.
Researchers found that efforts to sustain innovations are generally sound. When asked to select all that apply from a list of such efforts, 53% of survey respondents selected staff have been assigned responsibility to ensure continuity. 44% selected innovations